Listen to Downtown Hot Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
You're now tuned into the Real Rap Radio Show on Downtown Hot Radio. I'm your host, Walil Archer, and I have a special guest, Nana Kelly. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm doing wonderful.
Yes.
Congratulations on your children's book.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Let everybody know the name of them.
Okay. Well, the first one is called Honeybee Treehouse. It has won the Mother's Choice Award, and it's an Amazon bestseller. Then I have a second one called Athena the Brave. It also won Mother's Choice Award and Amazon bestseller. And the third one is Athena, Tudor, and the Eagle, which also won Mother's Choice Award and Amazon bestseller. So I'm all excited about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, let's start with the first book. How did you come up with that title?
Well, I wanted to write a children's book, and I started doing research on, I recently moved from New Orleans to North Carolina. I went from a city girl to a mountain girl. And so because of that, I've started to appreciate nature and subsequently noticing bees. And I started doing research on how important bees are. And that's what brought this book about. You know, we 3/4 of everything that we eat is because of bees, and because of bees, we have flowers and fruit trees and vegetables. And then I realized how important it is to save the bees. So I wrote a book with children becoming bee activists, learning all about bees, why they're important, and then they take up the role of, okay, let's see what we can do, and that's how that came about.
Now, what inspired you to bees? I understand they contributed 3/4 of what we eat, but what inspired you to cover bees?
It was when I came here and started working on the land that I realized, I don't know, it's like almost like the bees were around me all the time. It's the funniest thing. I'd wear yellow and the bees would hang around me, and I went, whoa, they must think I'm a flower. You know? And then when I put orange on, they were still around. And I went, oh, I need to learn about these, because they didn't hurt me. You know, they were just kind of like hanging on my clothes. And I went, oh, wow. So then I started, I don't know, it just kind of it came to me. And then I thought, oh, wow, I'm up in a cabin. The bees are all around. Obviously, they love the flowers. And let me learn more about them. And that's when I realized how important they are for nature and for our existence, actually, for farmers, everybody, you know.
Now, how did you go
Yeah.
about doing the research on bees to write the book?
Well, as an author, therefore I have books. And so I just started learning about bees. What do they do? How important they are. I mean, you know, they really work as a community, i.e., that's a great analogy for all of us. You know, when we work as a community, we do so much better than when we're lone stars, so to say. Uh, so I really bought some books, wrote this book, and I will tell you, I'm very excited, and I want to mention the American Bee Journal. The American Bee Journal got a hold of my book and acknowledged me, and really acknowledged me for writing this book, children's book, because have the children to become self-aware. And so I was all excited about that. And they wrote a whole page in their American Journal magazine about the book. So I figured I did something right. You know?
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
And let's talk about the second book.
Hey, the second book, you're going to love this book. The second book is called Athena the Brave. And I have a grand dog. This dog belongs to my son, Athena. She's a white Pomeranian. And I wanted to write stories to help children. You know, children need good role models. And so a little Athena, this book is about the power of words and kindness, and how important it is to have kindness, and your words matter, obviously. And so Athena, because she is a real life dog, she was an emotional support dog for a family member who has since passed. who had cancer for about 7 years. And so she became an emotional support dog. But also, she was in New Orleans. We have a parade called the Crew of Barkus. It is only for dogs, and it raises money to help bring dogs out of shelter, give them homes. And so she became the queen of Barkus. and, and it's only dogs, and they ride floats, and they walk down in the fridge quarter. And she, because during when she became queen, she raised more money than any other year before to help. So she has her own little titles of what she's done. And then I thought, wow, that was good. Now let's get Athena to start teaching some lessons. And that's Athena the Brave. Importance of words, importance of kindness. And that's Athena the Brave. Yeah.
Great book. Great book.
But thank you.
How about the third book?
Now, the third book is called Athena, Tudor, and the Eagle. And this is where Athena goes out into the woods, and she takes a family book, a little family photo album, out to go and play with it, which she knows she shouldn't have. But all of a sudden, it's a story about conquering your fears, having the courage to conquer your fears. So there's a whole story about how she loses the book, and then she has to face an eagle, which is much larger than Athena. Athena only weighs about 3 pounds at the most. Her hair, she has more hair than she has body weight. So it's a really sweet story about having the courage to walk through your fear. That's what that's about.
Okay.
Yeah.
And any challenges with writing those 3 books?
Absolutely. Yeah. They're picture books, and they cannot be more than 1,000 words. So that's very interesting. And they prefer it to be like maybe 800 words. So in order to be recognized as a picture book, you have to stay in the confines of that time, and the word limit. And sometimes, that's challenging. Like, how do you get your message across with fewer words and a lot of action? So that's what that's all about.
And what inspired you to write children books?
Well, I have spent my life with the first part. I've lived a long time. So therefore, you kind of start off with, in my early days, I did a lot of volunteer work with the elderly. And then I spent my professional life in the medical world working with organ donation, transplantation, death and dying. And then it just seemed like a natural transition I look at the little ones and I realize, wow, it's so important to have good role models and good lessons. And because of where I am now, I've had to embrace elderhood. Not sure I went down very gracefully with that, but it is what it is. And I realize that, stories are so important, and I just kept thinking, wow, these little tender hearts, how nice it is to give them some good stories and kind of help them on their path of where they're going. And that was my inspiration. Yeah.
While writing the books, did you get any writer's block?
Yes. I'm laughing because I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice if you could just sit? It's not like writing a letter. You sit down and you write a letter to someone and then off it goes, But when all of a sudden you realize you're writing for the public, it's not as easy as it appears to be. And so, yes, I would say I'm dealing with that right now because I'm getting ready to do my 4th book, and my challenge is, which subject do I want? Because you have a lot of ideas, obviously. But I kept thinking, okay, what's right now for me? What's the best lesson I can offer? And that in itself can be a kick in the pants. It's like, are you sure this is the way? sometimes we hurt ourselves. We overthink sometimes. Or I do. I can take it like that. Yeah. Are
Now,
you a writer?
I'm not. I always inspired to be one, but I haven't started yet.
Well, that's because you're so young. You see, so you have all these ideas in your head.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, when you receive writer's block, how do you usually overcome it?
There's an old famous Chinese proverb: sit thyself in the chair, pick up the pen, begin. So I just sit there and go, look, just put something to pen. Put it to pen, and then just sit there. And if you just allow it, words will flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will. So that's that. You know.
And what do you want the children to walk away from reading the books?
The one thing I think is most important for children is to stimulate their imagination and creativity. And that's really what the gift I want. When I give the books to the schools or engage with children, it is so exciting because you ask them questions and so you start with your story, but then you ask them questions about the story. You would be amazed. Children are wonderful because if you allow them, they'll go, yeah, but what about this? And how about that? So yeah, I would like to inspire children um, to embrace their imagination, to embrace their creativity. That's
Yes.
really what. Yeah.
Now, what did you learn from writing children books? Did you learn anything?
Oh, I think absolutely. I learned that I'm going to use the same word again. We are only limited by our we limit ourselves if we don't use our imagination, because I think it is through the imagination that where the creativity comes from. So what I've learned is that it's a process, takes time. That when the product is finished, you're like you've just had a new little baby come into the planet. It's like this, and then you cherish your work, and I respect it. I respect the books. I respect the messages, and I've learned that there's always so much more to give and to do in life. Yeah.
Now, with your creativity process, since you can only write from 800 to 1,000 words, how do you
Mhm.
formulate your books?
Well, first you sit down and you you have the concept, obviously, and then you need to think about what is the storyline that you want to tell, who are the characters in your story, and what's the plot. Now that can go on for a long, long time, but if I'm going to stay with picture books, then I know I'm limited. So I just sit down and I write the story, and then I go back and I revisit it. And then of course my imagination the whole time, because I'm also, there's you have to have an illustrator. And so when you meet with your illustrator, you already have the visuals in your mind, and you offer that, you tell them the story, you offer the visuals. It's like a piece of music. You have the lyrics, and then you have somebody who writes the music, and the two, you're lucky if it's one person, but most of the time it's a collaboration. And so you're back and forth with the ideas. Well, does this work? That's why I say it's not really, it's a process, it's really a process. Um,
Now, I know it's three different books, but how long did it take you to write the books?
it takes, it doesn't take so long to write the books as it takes to work with the illustrator. And that by the time you start, it takes a good 6 to 8 months, because you're putting together the, first of all, you have to have your story tight so that the illustrator can work with you. And so I would say if you work at it diligently, your story is down in a month. and that's really working. But then you're going to spend another several months working with your illustrator, and the story may tweak itself a little bit, just because he or she may have a concept of like, well, what about changing this image? See, so that it's a process. Then once that's done, then you have to format it to make sure that it's printable. So it's just it's more it's longer than one thinks, and I would say 6 to 8 months with a total finished product where then you're ready to put it out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who designs your book covers?
The illustrator does the book covers. On these particular 3 books, I had Herma Edwards as an illustrator, and so she did the book cover along with the with the interior as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're pretty cool. It's easy to have Athena because Athena's a real dog, so I have a lot of photographs of her. So, and then with the Honeybee Treehouse, I really wanted it to be a representation. The children are from all cultures, because let's face it, bees are all over the planet. So I wanted all cultures represented in that book, and that was fun. That was really a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And where can people purchase your book from?
You can purchase the book from Amazon. You can purchase the book from Barnes and Noble, or even go to your local bookstores and request the book. So it's available.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as we close out, any final thoughts or closing remarks?
Yeah, you made me think a lot today. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. So thank you. I really appreciate this interview.
My pleasure.
Okay.
So that's my time today on the Real Rap Radio Show. And I'll see you guys next time on the Real Rap Radio Show with Walil Archer on Downtown Hott Radio. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Listen to Downtown Hott Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Tune in by downloading the Downtown Hott Radio's mobile app. Listen on our website, www.downtownhottradio.com.